I'm going to respond to a video that Tim Pool made today about extraterrestrials and aliens. I'm going to tell you that aliens are, in fact, here. Unfortunately, it's not good news, it's bad news. Tim says, and other people say, that the reason why they haven't announced themselves yet is because we're not ready for it. That's not true. That's a lie. The reason why is because they did bad things. You understand what I mean? They did bad things that if we find out about what they did, we will be shocked by it and we will reject them, not because of us, but because of them. I'm going to give you some examples. People don't want to hear this, but they've been here for thousands of years. They created our religions, including Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And the way they do it is by communicating with people. Those people are called prophets. They have prophetic dreams. They believe they're talking to God, but they're not talking to God. They're talking to an alien who has a technology where they can read people's minds and project thoughts into their minds. How do you know this is true? Because they do it to everybody. We all have dreams every night. Some people have 4 or 5 dreams a night. It comes from them. I know this to be a fact. I've done extensive testing on this. I've actually had conversations with them. I know it's hard to believe, but it's real. If you, before you go to sleep, ask a question to them, they will answer it in the form of a dream. Not the same night, but maybe the next night they will do it. I have proven that you can block your dreams. You just block it by using a dense material. Crumpled aluminum foil is great. And I have to do it all the time because they're yapping at me all the time. And it's all nonsense. They could give a damn about humanity. They don't care. You have the vision that extraterrestrials, oh, they've solved every problem and they're wonderful people and they live in happiness and harmony. It's not true. They have committed atrocities that would shock us. They see us as like insects. You know, the same way you see an insect, like an ant crawling on the ground. That's the way they see us. We are unimportant. We're completely useless to them. They don't need us. They don't need our culture. They don't need our money. They don't need our technology. They don't need our resources. We are completely useless to them. And for every culture like ours, there's probably an infinite number in the galaxy. And they have probably explored more of the galaxy um, to the point where their exploration level, the need for exploration has probably gone away. The problem that we have is that we are not near where all the action is. We're too far away. That's why they don't care about us. That's why we were never colonized. That's why we're not advanced. It has to do with the distance. We're too many light years away. If you think about it, if you're 100 light years away, the time it takes to transfer anything, whether it's raw materials or information or culture, by the time it gets there, it's either useless or outdated or not what they wanted, or whoever wanted it is long since gone. You know, the interaction between galaxies or between distant planets is unnecessary. They are the dominant species in the universe, and they want to keep it that way. That's what they told me. I said humanity is not a threat to you, and they said you will be someday. We are the dominant species in the universe, and we want to keep it that way. That's what they said. That is their attitude. They could give a damn about people. Like, if you look at people like Adolf Hitler, and always people always say, if God is so loving, why did God allow Adolf Hitler to rise to power? Their attitude is, if it didn't happen, it would have happened at some other point. That means that someone else would have come along who would have convinced people that whatever their beliefs were, he would have reinforced their beliefs and rose to power because they were angry at the French. They were angry about the trade restrictions that the French had placed on them and reparation type thing where they had to pay France penalties for World War One. It was Germans hated it. So the alien belief is just let it happen. Like I said, if he didn't do it, someone else would have come along who would have done it. It would have been the same thing. The world, and the reason why you had the World War was because of all the treaties, mutual defense pacts. That's what triggers the World War. But when you look at something like Jesus Christ, or Joan of Arc is a great story. Joan of Arc as a child hears voices. They convince her that she is speaking to God. When she gets older, France is being invaded by England, and she fights. She joins the military, and she fights to defend France. And because she has a reputation for winning battles, nobody wants to fight her. So the French win. And then she's accused by the church of heresy. She stops hearing voices. They abandon her, and then she gets put on trial and she gets burned at the stake. That's an example. And I said, well, why did that happen? They said, so you remember it. If she didn't get burned at the stake, it would not be a part of anyone's history. And it's the same with people like Jesus Christ. If he wasn't crucified on the cross, nobody would have known who he was. He would have been forgotten in history. So their philosophy is they don't care if something bad happens. To them, something bad happens is a hard lesson that you have to learn. You know, like Adolf Hitler, you have to remember him, so something bad has to happen. And their attitude is just let it happen. Their attitude is not, no, stop this evil from happening. Let's say, I'm going to use the example of Oprah Winfrey. Oprah is very successful. She made a lot of money. Maybe she's one of the wealthiest women in the world. Very popular. A lot of people like her. She once said she never made a wrong decision. Why is that, Oprah? Why is it that you always made a right decision? Well, if someone is helping you, imagine if someone is helping you, maybe you're never going to make a wrong decision. And what about people like Joan of Arc who gets burned at the stake? How did that happen? How did that come about? Because someone was helping her and then stopped. You understand what I mean? That means that what Joan of Arc was doing was not her own desires for her own outcome. Someone else was giving her determination. Joan of Arc did not have self-determination. Something was determined for her. And if humanity finds out that this is happening, people are going to say, why are you helping out Oprah and not helping out me? I could have been the famous TV show host. You see what I mean? You see where the problem comes in? And there's going to be a lot of people who will tell you, there's no such thing as a coincidence. Coincidences are planned. I'm going to talk about prophets. There's no such thing as someone who can predict the future. There's no such thing as being psychic or any of that. It's all technology. They read everybody's minds. They have the technology to know where everyone is at all times. They know what you're doing and what you're up to and what your relatives are up to. And when you have dreams that something bad is going to happen to you, it's because they're watching what's going on and they know what other people are thinking and they're warning you that something bad is going to happen to you. How do you know? Well, did you ever have a dream about something good? Never. I have dreams like crazy. I'm 49 years old. I have crazy vivid dreams every night, and they're always negative. It's always about being confused or something fearful. It's never about solving a problem or a big solution or meeting someone and something happy happens. It's always something bad that happens. For men, it's probably about confusion, and for women, it's mostly about fear. Because it's being programmed into us, it's being broadcast to us. If it was coming from our subconscious, wouldn't there be good things in our subconscious? Of course there are. Why don't they come out as dreams? If I'm going to tell you, if you watch my videos, you can block your dreams. Just cover your eyebrow with metal like coins and aluminum foil, and you won't have any dreams. And they'll have to retune their equipment, and maybe the dreams will start up again. You just put another coin, and they have to keep repeating it. They keep on retuning their equipment because they have to tune it in order to go through the walls of your home, etc. I've discovered way more about this than I think anybody has. People do have implants. I don't know if everybody does, but there's definitely people that have implants. Actually remember when some of them were put in. That doesn't mean that I remember when all of them were put in. There's no such thing as ghosts. They are projected into our minds by aliens. There's no such thing as angels. I saw angels twice in my life. They're projected into your mind. Almost always when you see a ghost or an angel, You wake up in the middle of the night, you're paralyzed, you see the ghost, you fall back asleep because you have to not be moving. It's being projected remotely, and if you move, the the thing that's doing the projection is very pinpoint accurate. If you move, you won't be able to see whatever they're projecting upon you. And it's the same with hearing voices. If you ever heard a voice, which many people report, that's what's happening. Um, they are real. They don't want to give us any technology. They use this nonsense where, well, we went to the humans and all they wanted were weapons. You know what? Then you went to the military. And that's what they always say. If you go to a hospital, the hospital's not going to say, yeah, we want weapons. They're going to say they want medical technology. When do you ever hear about aliens confronting medical people? It's always associated with the military. Why are these UFOs going to military bases? It's because it's their interest. It has nothing to do with the interests of our government. Why don't they go to Greenpeace and say, what do you need help with? Greenpeace would say, we're worried about climate change. Why aren't they doing that? You understand? They're not. They're choosing who they're interacting with. And what they've told me is they could care less how many people die as long as it's not cataclysmic. We're just a game to them. They just study us out of curiosity or their personal joy or whatever, but they could care less if we evolve into anything. We are inferior beings to them. Like, for example, out in the Amazon, you've got these tribes. They call them isolated tribes. They always say, oh, yeah, when they're ready, we'll go help them. But what are you talking about when they're ready? They haven't changed in thousands of years. They're never going to be ready. You're the one that's not ready. There's tribes that are 100% isolated. They know about everybody else. And then you've got the ones that are halfway. The ones that are halfway, the kids don't do well in school. They don't have jobs. They're on government assistance. They live in poverty. And then you've got the ones, like in the United States, we have American Indians that are fully assimilated. We don't have Indians living out in tribes that don't have electricity and live in teepees. You know, they're connected. So they're keeping us isolated. When they say, well, you're not ready yet, no, it's not that we're not ready. It's that they do not want to share with us. They have all sorts of great technologies. Another part of it is it's like a welfare. They don't want us to be a welfare state. Let's say we need a coronavirus vaccine. They're not going to make it for us. They can make it if they want to. It would be easy for them to do. But then what would we do? We would just all become lazy and we would not do anything. And if they gave us the technology, we'd have to be able to build it with what technology we already have. So they can tell you how to do it with your existing technology, but they're not going to give you their technology. Would be kind of useless. They're not going to give you their technology. You wouldn't be able to use it. They're assuming that if one person becomes too powerful, they're going to misuse it and gain power over everybody else, even though it's what they do. Another thing they told me is that having implants is a necessity. I have to stop in 2 minutes because my time is running out. The way when you live in these future technologies, you just zap somebody. It's not like the movies where they fly in with a UFO and fire a laser. They can do it without you even seeing. They could probably kill everybody on Earth in a few seconds just by zapping all of us with some beam from a million miles away. They need to have implants in everybody because if you don't, another civilization can just come over and do a mind control on everybody, shut everybody off. So they need some sort of a device on everybody to protect them so that if something happens from another competing civilization, they'll know about it immediately and be able to stop it. That's the reason why it's a necessity for everyone to have these implants, but it can also be used to control people. Okay, so that's it for this video. I have to cut short because I have a 15-minute limit.